In this video, I'm about to give you thousands of dollars worth of training and trading tools entirely for free, plus the exact system that trades for you while you sleep. Nobody else on YouTube is offering this anywhere. You won't get this anywhere except right here, right now. To unlock access to this, you'll need to click the link in the description below and sign up to BloFin. Not only am I going to teach you how to use BloFin to trade like a pro, I'm also handing you a package worth thousands of dollars, absolutely 100% for free. Because I've built a serious relationship with BloFin, they've agreed to do something very special, something they've never done before and only for my viewers. They're covering the cost for full access to Whale School, my $2,000 trading course that's helped countless traders go from confused and inconsistent to confident and profitable. Over 100,000 traders have been through Whale School and used it to reach financial freedom. And you are about to get access to it 100% for free. But it doesn't stop there. You'll also unlock access to the Diamond Whale trading bot, a proven battle-tested system that trades long and short in ranges and in trends, all on autopilot 24/7 whilst you sleep. Pause the video right now, click the link in the description, lock in the value and follow my steps so I can walk you through exactly how to use BloFin to its full potential. And for those of you who are still maybe sitting on the edge, the money that I deposit into this account and I grow over time, I'll be giving that away exclusively to traders who used joining my specific link in the description below. Let's get into it. By now, most of you have probably clicked the link in the description below. Once you've done that, we're going to go through the sign up process. So as you can see, I've just clicked it over here. It will come through to this page. You can see that BloFin offer a massive amount of different opportunities for you once you sign up. The offer that they give is constantly changing, but I've seen it range from crazy things like getting a Ferrari to a Tesla Cybertruck, and they often run competitions where you can win in excess of $10 million, which is absolutely unreal. The current offer that they have over here right now is you can get anything from an iPad to an iPhone 15 to an Apple Vision Pro to even Omega watches. So make sure you use that particular link because that link also qualifies you to these various different prizes. So let's get into it. We're going to sign up. You can do it in two ways. One, you can just put in an email address, create a password. It will send through to your inbox the next step so you can verify that it is your email account. Or alternatively, you can sign up through Apple or Google if you want to do it very quickly. I'm going to opt for Google today. So let's go. Okay, so it says, confirm you want to sign in to BloFin as Kyle. I do indeed want to do that. Let's click that. All right, so add in a powerful password, something that can't be hacked. Also, what you want to do is create two-factor authentication once you've actually signed up. So we've done that. We're going to click sign up over here. And that is it. We're in. So fiat deposit and trade to share $30,000. As mentioned, they're constantly offering various different prizes for actually signing up. So you can go to buy crypto right now. It will show you exactly step by step what you need to do in order to purchase crypto. And it shows you all the various different rewards that you're going to get. Also, what's amazing is once you've actually joined using that link and you've signed up, you'll see it will give you a call to action over here where you can claim your free course to Whale School. I want to remind you what Whale School is. If you go through over here, Whale School is my personalized trading course. 100,000 people have gone through this course over here. And these are the lessons that you'd actually gain access to. So by using that particular link, you should unlock full access. You'll notice it has a little lock over here. They're going to use the user ID to verify you into Whale School. And the amazing thing is my school's not the only one that's here. We partnered with a bunch of other traders and you'll actually gain access to all of these various different schools. So I highly recommend that you try that out. I go through everything like risk management, support and resistance, candlesticks, chart patterns, ranges and trends. Remember, markets are caught within a range about 70% of the time. So you're going to need to employ the right strategy at the right time. Trend trading is what most of you have come to love and know in the bull markets. That's where everything is going towards the upside and you just buy and hold. And I give you strategies and tools that you can use to time your entry near the bottom and exit very, very, very close to the top. And that's how we make money, right? I'll give you useful tools and resources that you can add to your repertoire or toolkit so that you can succeed in trading over time. Things like bots and other useful resources where you can look at things with within the crypto markets on chain to assess is something undervalued or overvalued. I talk about moving averages, exponential moving average strategies. These help to keep you in those trends. Very, very, very important. One of the most important things when it comes to markets is market cycle theory. Now, there's various different cycles that you get within markets. Remember, markets go through accumulation, reaccumulation, distribution. Although these words are probably very unfamiliar and foreign to you right now, I break this all down in a very easy, systematic way, and I make it easy for you to understand and easy for you to see the roadmap and to succeed. Remember, anyone that comes to create something or building a bridge, whatever it may be, they have a blueprint, they have a roadmap that they're going to be looking at, and then they know the direction and the path they need to follow. Once they have that roadmap, they can go to the procurement manager and they can start to source all the relevant materials, the bricks, the poles, everything that you need to bring together in order to create that structure. This is what Whale School is. We give you the structure so that you can succeed and you can make profits. We go through portfolio structuring, volatility, liquidity, and then finally, the most important grand finale lesson, trade execution. How do you get into positions? The basis of all your trading is going to come down to how to enter and exit that trade. And we go into that in a lot of detail. So click claim your free course over there. Amazing. As you can see over here, 4.9 on Trustpilot. Excellent score over there. We've got 130 plus reviews. Go and have a look what people had to say. Really, really an honor to bring 100,000 people through this course. What an opportunity. So let's continue with the sign up process. You've done that. You've claimed your course over here. You need to secure your assets. Link two of the following, either a mobile number, email address, or Google Authenticator. Now, what I would say about that, mobile number. Guys, I think be very careful with this. Hackers have found a way to gain access to people's mobile numbers. They can do things like SIM swaps. This is still a dangerous way to go forward. What you want to do is you rather want to set up two-factor authentication. So passkey, also highly recommended. I do use passkeys on my mobile device and my laptop over here. But what you can use over here, so Google Authenticator is going to be an app that you'll download through Google. We know Google, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, are very, very, very secure. So they provide the service. It's entirely free. I recommend download that Google Authenticator on your phone, and then you're going to go through to link. Once it says link, you're going to open up your mobile device. So you're going to need to go through to the Google Authenticator app, which looks like this. As you can see over here, there's your Google Authenticator app. You're going to click the plus sign. You're going to say scan a QR code. So it's going to bring up a little camera like that. And all you have to do is hover that over the QR code. I'm going to scan it. It's going to give me a number. You can save the backup codes. I'm going to say that I've saved the backup codes. Then you're going to put in your email verification. So first step is going to click send, right? So it's busy sending it through to my email. All right, so we've got the code, copy that code across, bring it onto this screen over here. We're going to paste that in there. And now I'm going to read the number that changes every 30 seconds over here. And this is for your security. That is the Google Authenticator number. So 577511, and we're going to say submit. And that's it. We've secured the account. Now that we've secured the account, let's get familiar with BloFin and start to look at how to deposit capital onto the exchange. A big reminder, as mentioned, for those of you that use the particular link in the description below, I'll have access to your user ID because I'm friends with BloFin. I'll message them. I'll get the user ID list for all of you that use that particular link. And I'm going to give away the money at the end of this bull run for those of you that signed up using that particular link. So let's get into it. We need to go through to assets. You can see it's absolutely zeroed out over here. There's nothing. I just opened this account. We're going to go through to deposit. Click deposit over there. There's a couple of ways in which you can deposit. One, you can use things like USDT or another crypto coin from a different exchange and send that across. There's a lot of different options over here. Or you can actually buy fiat, which is USD, euros, whatever it may be in your local currency. And you can do that through things like Google Pay or Apple Pay, which are going to be the two easiest options. Or thirdly, you can just load your credit card details. Fourthly, I guess there is a fourth option. If you're doing larger amounts, you can do an electronic transfer or bank transfer directly into BloFin. So because I'm a crypto native, because I've been in the crypto space for a very long time, I'm just going to send money across from one of my other exchanges through. I'm going to select USDT over here. It's vitally important if you ever do this option, select the coin USDT. This is the stable coin. Make sure that when you click withdraw on your other platform, so we're depositing to this platform, so we need to click deposit. Then we're going to go through to select network. I usually just look at what's the cheapest fee over here, and that's how I make my determination. As you can see over here, Tron 0.5, so it's 50 cents to send it, Ethereum 50 cents. You can see Solana is only 10 cents. So I'm going to select Solana. Solana is a pretty reliable chain. Now what we'll see over here is it provides you an address. It's vitally important that on the other platform that you go onto, where your funds are held, if you have funds on another exchange, which I'm going to pull across on the screen over here. So I'm going to go into another exchange. I'm going to go through to withdraw. So we've got the address over here. We got Solana, we got USDT, we got Solana. This is the deposit address. Remember, the address is going to be unique to the network that you've selected. It's vitally important that you copy that exact address. So I've copied it. We're going to go through to one of my other accounts over here, and I'm going to withdraw USDT. So that is, I have $7,000 worth of USDT. We're going to click in the address. So copy and paste the address in. What you can do is you can always go back and double check. So we got 2FU and we got FZZD. So we got 2FU, FZZD. They do match up. Make sure, and this is the important part, Solana, select Solana. Because if you have Solana over here and Solana over there, it needs to be the same. We're going to withdraw all of that capital, $7,279. What happens if you send it to the wrong network? Is it gone for good? No, it's not gone for good. You can contact BloFin. They have amazing customer support. You'll have to reach out to them. You'll have to let them know that you sent it to the wrong chain. They may charge you a $100 fee. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but they do charge you a fee to recover the funds because it's a massive mission, but it can be recovered. Just make sure you choose the right chain. We're going to withdraw that, and then we'll get back into using the actual platform and trading. Unlike the banking sector, you should receive all of your funds in just a couple of minutes. So actually, if we have a look at the BloFin account over here and you go to the bottom, it will say USDT deposits. If I do a quick refresher, it should pop up over here and showcase. There we go. So we've received our $7,279 via the Solana network. There's the time. There's your transaction ID. This is very valuable for those of you that do want to provide proof of payment. If you had to send money to somebody or you want to store it for your own records, you can copy this link over here and you can go and actually paste that under SolScan. So it depends on what network you used. If you used, for example, Ethereum, you'd go to Etherscan, you'd copy that transaction ID, paste that into Etherscan, and then it will show you exactly on chain that the transfer has taken place. So we're not going to go into that step right now because it's not necessary. We wanted to see our funds are there. Our funds are now there. Now we can go through into the rest of the tutorial and we can have a look at how we can make money, which is probably why you're here. How do we make money? How do we use BloFin to its full potential? What can you use this exchange for? Also, before we get into that, I have to mention that BloFin used something called Fireblocks. Fireblocks is one of the most secure ways of storing your funds because remember, a lot of exchanges do go down. Remember, FTX collapsed back in 2021. And the reason why was Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, used customer funds to trade with. And then the market collapsed and that caused a mass liquidation event. Most users who had their funds on FTX lost those funds. Now, this is impossible when it comes to BloFin because BloFin are using Fireblocks, which is a third party who's custodying the funds, and it's very, very, very secure. Anyway, let's get into it. So when you go to overview, it shows here where all of your funds are. Currently, the funds are in the funding account. If you want to move that across, of course, you can do that. You just click over there. By clicking on transfer, you can transfer it into USDTM, which is margined futures. That is a form of perpetual contracts. You can send it into the earn pool, where if you want to earn a yield or APY by staking certain coins, even USDT, you can stake stable coins and you can get around 5% per year, which is pretty good. You can put it into a spot account and then you can put it into CoinM. CoinM is coin margined. What CoinM means is, for example, if you buy Ethereum on spot means you're buying the underlying asset. but you speculate that Ethereum is going to go much, much, much higher. What you can do is you can take a leveraged bet by borrowing some of quote unquote the bank's money or the exchange's money. You can take a 2x long or 3x long using your current Ethereum as collateral, and it will settle your profits in Ethereum, which means you're longing Ethereum with spot and you're longing it on leverage, and it's settling your profits in Ethereum, which means you're massively compounding that particular coin. So that's what CoinM is for, right? Most people are going to trade on USDTM, which is just going to be a form of either cross or isolated long margin or short margin on that particular coin settled in USDT. We'll talk more about this in a moment. For now, let's get into taking some actual trades. I'm also going to show you how to connect to the Diamond Whale bot, which remember trades long and short for you. If the market's stuck in a range, it would range trade for you as well. Again, these are all things that I actually teach over here in Whale School. If you go through to these various different sections, the bot is very much dependent on that type of trade strategy. And if you look at the probability of the bot outperforming BTC in a normal buy and hold strategy, well, even if you bought the exact top or entered into the exact top of the market cycle using the bot, it would take approximately 4 months of remaining in the bot, and you would begin to outperform what you'd be getting on Bitcoin. So it only gets better over time. So this is a long-term strategy. To be vitally clear, if you are going to use the Diamond Whale bot, I recommend that you have the mindset of holding for a minimum of 6 months and even looking possibly at remaining in those positions for up to 2 years, that being 24 months. So the first thing we'll do is let's actually connect to the Diamond Whale bot. Once we've done that, we'll look at some of the other features and the benefits that you would have by using BloFin, such as building a spot portfolio and taking some leverage trades. So first things first, we're going to go through to the YouTube link over here, the description. You've already clicked sign up, which means you're eligible for everything on offer. And then you're going to go to copy the Diamond Whale. So once you click on that, it should already be linked. It's got our original capital. Copy the Diamond Whale. This is a minimum entry of $500. So all we're going to do is we're going to click copy. There it is. We're going to click copy over there. It shows you how much do you want to allocate. I have $7,000. Let's allocate the minimum amount. Let's just go with $500. We'll put $500 into this trade. There we go. Okay. Copy trade, everything is fine. So we're doing $500 over there, and everything can just be left and remained as it is. You just have to click over here. I have read and agree to the terms and conditions. This just shows you that there is always risk when you are copy trading someone else. So you want to be aware of those risks if you want to go and click on that, and we'll click submit. That's it. We're in. Copy trade, my copies. You can go there to my copies now, and it shows you you've officially joined the Diamond Whale. I have to let you know that this is limited to the first few people who join. The Diamond Whale may be full by the time you actually try and join. If it is full, you're going to have to just keep it on your watch list, and you'll be able to join that at a later date. So we've done that. We're in the Diamond Whale. Now let's get back into the rest of the platform. So if you go on the top over here, same as on the side, you have your markets, you have spot, futures, copy trading. So we're going to go through to spot over here. Spot means you're buying the underlying asset. What that means is that you would be subject to the day-to-day fluctuations in the price of whatever coin it is that you purchase. So if you buy Bitcoin and today it's $100,000 and you bought it and tomorrow it's $120,000, of course you'll be up 20%. You have no risk of liquidation. Liquidation in trading means that you lose the capital that you put into the trade. If you don't have a stop loss, you get liquidated. Liquidation always comes with additional risk. Think of it in housing terminology. If you borrow too much from the bank to purchase too many houses and there's a collapse within the market, the bank has the liberty to go and confiscate or take back all of those properties and then liquidate them on the market at a later date, which means you lose your home, you lose your houses. Therefore, if you buy the house in cash, there's no risk of liquidation. In essence, that is what spot trading is. Spot trading is probably the safest form of trading. A lot of people will use leverage to increase their position size and even in certain times decrease their risk. But that's a story for another day. You'll need to join Whale School because that is a 1-hour lesson in its own. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a very quick portfolio over here. We're going to buy with the capital that we have allocated, just a few coins. I believe that BTC can still go a lot higher from here. So we're going to have a look at the order book. We've selected BTC over here. Remember, you can add these as favorites. So we'll add BTC as a favorite. We'll add Ethereum as a favorite. We're going to add a little bit of XRP, Solana. I'm going to keep going down the list to the coins that I believe are in good zones right now. We're going to scroll down a bit further over here. We need to find 𝗬𝗎. So if we can't find 𝗬𝗎 over there, it's okay. We'll click at the top. We need to add 𝗬𝗎 to the list. So there is 𝗬𝗎. We need to add 𝗧𝗍 to the list. Let's click on 𝗧𝗍. We need to add PEPE to the list. So let's click on PEPE. Then we need to add BONK to our list. And there is BONK on spot. Perfect. So we've created a favorited list over here. As you can see, BTC, ETH, XRP, Solana, PEPE, BONK, 𝗧𝗍, 𝗬𝗎. Now, if you're watching this video a couple of months or years from now, the video is still relevant. The coins might not be relevant, but everything else you're about to learn here, the practical lessons are still relevant. So we're going to buy a little bit of each of these coins. Now, there's two ways in which you can do this. One, you can do a market buy. A market buy will get you in as quick as possible at the best possible price at that point in time. A limit order, which you can see the order book is on the left-hand side, will get you in at the exact stipulated price that you've given and nothing else, right? So for example, if I believe that Bitcoin is going to drop down to that red moving average over there, which is currently curling, which means it would be 119,474. If I set a limit order and I put 119,734, there we go. And I decide, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin at that price. And I use my slider and I say, I want to go all in at Bitcoin at that price. And I say, buy BTC. The buy order will not go through at all unless price hits that exact level. This is applicable on the sell side as well. But since we just want to do quick buys and we want to buy a quick spot portfolio, we're going to just allocate a little bit into each of those coins. So I'm going to put $250 into this position. We can go over here and we can say total. As you can see, amount refers to the amount of BTC, which gets a bit confusing. Let's work in dollar terms and we're going to say total. You can see it says the available amount that I have in this account is 0. We're going to have to transfer money across, right? So let's just double check how many coins we have. We're going to put $250 into each coin. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coins. We need about $2,000. So we're going to transfer $2,000 across, and you're going to transfer that from the funding account to the spot account. $2,000, there it is. Let's confirm that. Send that across. As you can see, it says available capital now $2,000, and we can begin to buy. So we're going to just go with the market buy because we want to get in right now. I'm going to give away this portfolio to you guys at the end. We say buy BTC, and that's it. We're in. Let's go to the next one, Ethereum, 250, and we're going to say buy ETH. And the next one, we're going to go to XRP, and we're going to say 250, and we're going to buy XRP. Remember to do whale school because there's obviously some method to the madness over here. We are in a bull run. We believe prices are going to go higher, and that is the reason that we're doing this. At a later stage, it may be a different story. 250 of Solana. There we go. We're in. Let's go 250 on XRP, or excuse me, on PEPE, $250 PEPE, and we're going to buy that. And we're going to go to BONK. 250, and we're going to market by BONK. Then we're going to go to 250 on 𝗧𝗍, and we're going to market by that. And 250, which is our final one on 𝗬𝗎. So you can pretty much just pull the slider across, 100% entry on that. And that's it. We're in, right? So these are now the official positions. Let's go back to overview. So if you go to overview, and then you click on spot account, you'll see it has almost $2,000 in. The funding account remains with 4,778. And then we have the copy trading account with $500 because we just entered those positions. So if you want to go and view those positions, click on your spot account, say hide assets that represent less than $1. And that way you can see your portfolio. There it is. There is your overall portfolio. Now, we can still play around with a couple of the other things. Remember, if you want to copy trade other traders, this isn't the only copy trading account, right? You can go through to the copy trade leaderboard. Now, oftentimes this will involve a bit of risk because these traders are typically trading on leverage. So you want to do your research. If you're having a look at these guys, you want to check out, you want to have a look at the talent. You want to have a look at the highest P&L traders, 104%. You want to click on it. You want to do a bit of research. How long have these guys been around for? So you can see over here, 77 trades, 54 were winning trades. Return on investment is 13%. Look at the equity curve over there, over 90 days. It's very choppy, right? It's not as good as the Diamond Whale bot, but it may be something worth considering. These are the 𝗫𝗁𝗔 trades. If you're somebody that's new, right? Have a look at these things. Okay, I'm going to leave this one. He has 45,000 assets under management. They do take a profit share percentage for doing the work for you, but I think it's a nice opportunity for those that have never been in markets and you're looking for a bit of exposure. Now let's talk about the futures trading. Very, very, very important, right? Futures trading. So we're going to go to USDT M futures. That means that all trades that you're taking will be settled in USDT, which is a stable coin. Remember, the coin margin futures would mean that you're buying the underlying asset like we just did. We built a portfolio, and now you want to take a leverage long position on that. So remember, if you have $100 and you go 10x leverage, it's the same thing as if you're trading with $1,000. Now you may think, well, that sounds amazing. Why don't I just do that right now? Understand that when you do that, your margin for error is very, very, very small. So for example, if price were to move against you by 1% and you're on 10x leverage, you would lose 10 times the amount of money. So you'd lose 10% for every 1% move. The same way as you gain 10% for every 1% increase in price. It's very important that you attend whale school workshops, that you attend all of the lessons that I've put in there, because I describe risk management and how to navigate leverage. It's a tricky, tricky game. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. So we're going to have a look at some trade setups over here. I know that 𝗧𝗍 is not in a bad place, so let's go to 𝗧𝗍. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to pull up 𝗧𝗍. So we're going to go 𝗧𝗍, and you can see under the futures chart, we want to click on this one. And the reason I'm selecting 𝗧𝗍 is because I know on the chart, based on my YouTube show that I did earlier today, remember to watch those daily, that we're about to break a massive downtrend. So we can possibly look at taking a leverage trade over here. You're going to be approaching this trend line very, very, very soon. And if you can start to break above that, it's going to be looking really good. And we've seen this repeat pattern within the crypto markets, which is called a cup and handle formation. A cup and handle formation means you'll approach the neckline, which is going to be over there. You'll probably put in a bit of a pullback, which will likely lead into a bump and run scenario. The bump and run is going to throw back into this trend line. But all of that is much higher while simultaneously putting in higher highs and higher lows. So we're going to start to build a position over here. Now, of course, we'd likely scale into the trade. And one way that you can do that is by going to tools. An amazing opportunity over here, something that they've built in. They give you the ability to scale into a trade. So we're going to click Futures Grid. So we've clicked Futures Grid. We're going to go manual. You can see over here, there's a lot of AI strategies which you can always follow as well if you want to automate your trading. But I want to remain in control. So I'm going to click on manual. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. Let's clean this up a little bit. We're going to clean up all those charts over there. And we're going to go on the 4-hour time frame. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. And we're going to say, you know what? This is maintaining a beautiful uptrend of higher highs and high lows, and price is already beginning to run. We entered into this position on our YouTube show a long time ago, but for the sake of the explanation, we're going to have a look at taking another trade over here. So we're going to pull up a box, and we're going to go through to the rectangle, and we're going to say as long as we maintain this high-low structure, we believe that this is still going to be a good trade opportunity. So if price even pulls back, anything that enters into this box between 30 cents and 34 cents is going to be a good entry. So you can see over here, it says your lowest price, which is in the right-hand margin, is going to be 0.3093. We're willing to enter into that trade within that region. And our upper region is going to be 0.3436, which is marked by the top part of the box, which means if price falls back into this box like this, Let's grab our brush. If it falls back into the box, we're going to have multiple buy orders with a stop loss underneath those candles. So how many grids do we want? We're going to go with about 50 grids. As you can see, if I click 50, it prints all of those grids over there. How much leverage do we want to use? I'm going to keep it relatively low now with this highly volatile market. I'm going to leave it with 3x leverage. As you can see over here, I want to enter about 50% into this trade. But it says invested amount must be greater than $54. The reason for that is there's no money. So what do we do? Again, we just click on here. We say available. We need to transfer from the funded account the rest of the money, move it across, and then we should have no problem. There it is. You can see it's represented. It says available over there. And now you should not have that problem. So 50% of the capital, which is $2,389, we're going to create that buy order, and that's it. Geometric grid has been created. There's all the details. So you can always go and review exactly what is going on with that bot. There it is. It's currently populating and filling everything in. It shows you, here's your price ranges. Here's your current grids. We're buying 430 𝗧 per grid. So we've taken a perpetual trade using 𝗧. Now let's talk about taking one without a futures grid, but more just a manual trade with the actual risk to reward setup. So let's have a look through our list and see, based on my YouTube show from earlier today, I'm going to try and think about which coin was still in a decent area, and we're going to have a look at that. So I'm thinking along the lines of possibly PEPE. So let's quickly pull up PEPE. PEPE is a higher beta play against Ethereum, and Ethereum has recently been doing very, very well. And as you can see over here, the same thing. You're starting to put in that higher low structure. We have to clear some of the resistance overhead. We do have a beautiful trend line which is forming over there as well. So as long as you're floating your stop loss underneath, and I'm going to show you how to put that in. The saying goes, God created stop losses, right? You have this ability to not lose all your money if price goes down. You can place a stop loss underneath the lows, and that is the way that the markets tend to work. You tend to see this higher low structure, which means if that bullish trend continues, you should continue to maintain that. And therefore, if price does this, your idea is wrong and you're out of the position. So we'll set up the trade here. We're going to have a look at a long trade. We're going to buy into this region over here. As per the tool, we'll change the coloring a bit to make it easy for you to see. So style, let's just gear that up to about 60% on the transparency and another 60% over there. You can see everything nicely. So we're going to enter into this PEPE trade over here. We're going to float our stop loss just below those lows, and we want to target all the way up to the top over here, which is where your liquidity is, right? You're going to have a lot of untapped liquidity around these breakdown areas, which means our expectation is price should move back towards those regions and possibly even above. So let's have a look at this. Let's zoom in a little bit more, and let's make sure that it says always show your stats. There we go. That way everything is on the screen for you to see, fully transparent. All right. So the trade setup that we're looking at right now, you'll notice it says 3.32. 3.32 refers to the amount of profit that you stand to make off each dollar that you put in the trade. Now, underneath that is going to be your risk. You can see it's a big move towards the downside, 23% downside move. But for every $1 that you risk, you stand to gain $3.32. This is considered a favorable risk to reward ratio. Again, more on this in the Whale School course that I'll be teaching you how to analyze the charts and how to plan out your trades. Now, you always want to be looking for at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which means you're always gaining more than you stand to lose in trading. This is how we gain an edge, and the probabilities work in our favor. So based on the trend analysis, we're going to be looking for a buy over here. You can see over here, we're still on the futures grid. So go back and go to trade, and it says cross margin. Now you want to trade. Now you want to change this. You want to change it to isolated margin. And the reason why is cross margin means if your stop loss doesn't trigger, which can happen in extreme conditions, or if you don't place one, you stand to liquidate everything. So all the money that we put in the bot, all the money that we put in the spot trades, all the money that we put in the grid trade right now on that 𝗧 long, if we were on cross margin and price went against us and the stop loss didn't trigger, on cross margin, we'd risk liquidating everything, the full $7,000 trading account. So isolated margin means you're limited to risking only that capital. Right, so we're going to show you how to take this trade. This works both long and short. If you were to short the market, all you need to do is you just need to make sure you click sell short. But we're going to go buy long. So the order book on the right hand side over here will get you into the trade. We're going to click one of those. These are live orders that are currently flowing into the market, and we want to be on 3x leverage, nice and low. Most traders above 5x leverage do tend to get liquidated. And I'm going to plan to scale into this trade over time. So for now, I'm only going to take 25% of the remaining capital. You can either pre-enter your TP and stop loss, or you can enter it in afterwards. Okay, I'll show you how to do both. For now, the take profit, which is TP, is all the way on the top side over here. You can see over there, it ends in 21900. So you're going to have to be relatively careful over here. There's a lot of zeros. So make sure you look carefully. It's going to be 0.000. There we go. So we got, let's double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Okay, some of the coins have a lot of zeros and you have to be careful. 21900. All right, there we go. That is our take profit. Our stop loss, on the other hand, is probably going to have a few more zeros because it's much further down. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0.12345 zeros, and then 9552. I'm going to show you another trick that if you do run into a coin like this, you can navigate that problem relatively easy. So we've already filled it, right? I'm going to show you what the trick is in a moment. But for now, we filled everything in. We're going to say buy long, confirm. Right, there it is. So we got our limit order in, and we can go through to the open orders. There's the position. It's waiting to get filled. So price has to just drop a little bit more, and basically this will fulfill. So to get that order in, if you're in a hurry to get this position filled, you can either click and drag that. So you can basically just put a little bit above price, and there we go. The order's in. Now what you'll see is it shows already where your stop loss is, right? There's our stop loss. You can click and drag that as well if you do want to change the levels. But I said I'd show you a quick trick, right? The quick trick is this. You want to go through to a horizontal line. Click on that horizontal line, and basically you can place it over there where your take profit is. You can again take that horizontal line and you can place it where your stop loss is, all right? Now let's say you wanted to fill that order, but you don't want to count the zeros. Double click on the line at the level that you want to fill that order. Go through to coordinates, and there it is. That's the full number. Double click on that, double click, copy it, and then basically you would come through over here and you would say take profit, and then you paste it in and all your orders will be there. Now I also told you, you can make adjustments to the order after the fact if you don't want to set your take profit and your stop loss immediately in the trade setup. To avoid confusion, I'm just going to take another trade, a different trade. We're not going to think too hard about the setup of this because this is for the purpose of just educating you. We're going to have a look at, let's go with BONK. BONK was the other one that we wanted to look at, and we're going to go on a futures trade over here, and now we're on BONK, right? So there it is. We're going to click on BONK anywhere in the screen because we want to enter. We're going to just go small position, 5%, click open long, and that's it. There we go. The trade has been filled. So now you go to positions, and you can see over here it says BONK. You can come through to the far right-hand side, and you see the little plus sign, click on it. And now you can set exactly where you want your order, right? So how far do you want your take profit to be? You can say, I want, for example, to make 20% profit. If you click 20%, it will automatically fulfill your entry. How far do you want your stop loss to be away? Well, maybe I only want my stop loss to be about 10% away. Then it shows you exactly what your loss will be. You'll lose $26, but you'll gain 53, minus 10, but plus 20. That's giving you a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and you can click confirm, and there it is on the chart. Now, when we have a look at this, we can get a little bit more technical, and we can say, but look, we should probably float that stop loss below those lows, click and drag it. And where do we want our take profit to be? Well, the one logical place is at those highs. Click and drag it, and it will automatically change. If it does break through this, you could go up possibly as high as about 55 cents. Now you have a very favorable risk to reward setup. You can go again to the long position and you can say, well, we entered there and we are stopping out over there and we are taking our profit over there. This is giving you a 6.23 to 1 risk to reward ratio. An amazing, amazing trade setup. So In essence, that is the crux of how you can use BloFin. Now, the great news is for any of you that have signed up using the link, remember you've unlocked all this access where you can win prizes like Omegas, you can get into trading competitions, and you can win up to $10 million. You can join the Diamond Whale trading bot, but most importantly, you can get into Whale School. You can meet a like-minded community of traders who are looking to learn how to get into the markets and how to navigate things successfully. I know where I was a few years ago. I wish that I had a course like this, something that could assist me to get from A to B. But the most important thing is we have an exclusive community called Whale Room. Whale Room's my private group. I have about 5 different traders in Whale Room, which are helping people to trade. Now, as you can see over here, there is a price to enter because it is a paid group. There's a lot of value in there. But the great news is for those of you that actually complete Whale School, if you complete this entire course over here, you're going to get 14 days for free in Whale Room. Whale Room is where our traders are absolutely crushing it. You can see the profits over here. A lot of people are making a living out of just trading full time. So for those of you that want to take your trading to the next level, that's my highest recommendation. Let me know in the comments if this video taught you something and if there was value, and consider sharing it with 2 or 3 people who are new to crypto. For those of you that want to see how I approach building a crypto portfolio, have a look at this video over here, which we're going to pin at the top. And if you're looking for other exchanges, we'll also attach one over here where you can get another full tutorial. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope your trading goes well, and I look forward to seeing all the profits. Cheers for now.